Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French, and thank you so much for joining us. It's Monday evening, July 2nd. Yep, we're already into July. Got a lot to cover here this evening, but up first, the bully governor, that's what some are calling him. Governor Chris Christie, though, has his fans. He let his Jersey boy out once again this weekend, but we're asking you, is the act getting old? And next, Robert's stroke of genius certainly surprised a lot of folks on Thursday, did the Chief Justice, but in choosing to uphold Obamacare, some now asking if his reasoning for doing it will actually doom Democrats down the line. We'll talk to a constitutional expert. And later, Charlie's challenge. It seemed that Representative Charlie Rangel, with all the problems he's faced in the last few years, he got through the worst of it as he won his primary last week. But today, some questions definitely remain. We're going to have the inside scoop on how much trouble the longtime Harlem Democrat could actually be in. And then, Mitt's muddled immigration policy. Now, he steered clear of addressing the issue head on, no matter how often people try to ask, leaving everybody to try and figure out where he is on this issue. And with such a key demographic and a constituency in what will be a narrow election in November, the stakes couldn't be higher. We're going to try and figure out what's in his head. All that and plenty more, including your reaction, everybody. It's coming up on this edition of RFL. But let's begin with Governor Chris Christie's, well, his big mouth.
Did I say on topic? Are you stupid? On
No,
topic. On topic. Next question.
That, of course, New Jersey's own Governor Chris Christie calling a reporter stupid for asking an off-topic question this weekend after he told reporters keep the questions to the single issue at hand. Now, this isn't anything new, is it? We've heard this kind of routine language, whatever you want to call it, from the tough-talking governor many times before. At first, some found the bluntness refreshing. Didn't speak in politician speak here, but actually said what many of us might say around a barbecue. But now, a lot of folks say, enough already. The act is getting old. The outburst comes in the backdrop of a worsenary budgeting condition here in a situation that called for an emergency session today in Trenton. I want to bring in our senior political correspondent Andrew Whitman to explain the money and also the mouth of Chris Christie.
Well, Rich, if you've seen the political ads touting the Jersey comeback, ads like this one.
It is how to build on our successes. It is no longer about how to deal.
Now, if you watch these ads, you might think that New Jersey is on the rebound, case closed, and can easily afford a big tax cut, but the numbers don't exactly bear that out. Christie's plan would cut income taxes by 10%, and the governor says he can pay for it if the state's tax revenues grow at a rate of 7.3%. But for the first few months of 2012, the state's tax revenues fell well short of that, coming in at just 2.7%, 2.7 less than 7.3, well short of the threshold the governor set, and getting lots of people to wonder if the state can afford the Christie tax cuts. Still today, Governor Christie ordered the legislature back to Trenton to urge them to pass his tax cut plan.
And I agreed to the Democratic Senate tax plan. Now, will you join me? Will you act today to guarantee a summer of tax relief, job competitiveness, and increased confidence in state government for our citizens? I am ready. Are you? I've used my veto authority on the budget you sent me to create a $650 million surplus. Can't we afford to send just 1/3 of that surplus back to our citizens and to give them that guarantee today? I say yes.
Well, the governor says yes. However, the Democrats say no. They say a tax cut of that kind just isn't possible right now.
The only difference is making sure the money's going to be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the question you really should ask yourself is what has changed in the last 4 days? And the truth of the matter is that nothing has changed in the last 4 days. New Jersey's unemployment rate is still at 9.2%, a full percentage point plus, more than the national average. Nothing has changed regarding New Jersey's ranking on our gross domestic product, ranking us 47th amongst the 50 states. The only thing that has truly changed in the last 4 days is that we heard word again that another company will leave the state and take 1,000 jobs with them. The governor talks about wanting to provide tax relief to people. He talks about a $600 million surplus that are revenues from his surplus. He achieved that by cutting property tax relief for families in the Democratic budget that he was presented. And he continues to take that on the back of New Jersey residents.
Now, Democrats agreed to fund the 10% tax cut that Christie is looking for, but they say they'll release the $183 million it'll cost in January if the state can afford it. Governor Christie says he wants a commitment now, a commitment that state Democrats clearly are not willing to supply. Rich?
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. Right now, I'd like to bring in State Senator from New Jersey, Loretta Weinberg, Democrat. And Senator, thank you as always for a few minutes. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Well, today, a special session. Governor said this was critical to get everybody together in Trenton. Was this theater or was this about substance?
It was the governor's opportunity for much ado about nothing. He will get another front page story or a little TV airtime out of all of this. The fact is, we passed a budget which did compromise with him, which used his figures, in fact, was about $60 million less than the budget he sent to us. We put into it money for a property tax refund, not the income tax reduction that he wanted. And all we said was, your revenue predictions are quite rosy, almost twice as much of what any other state in the United States is predicting. So we think at the end of the year, the beginning of 2013, we have to look at our revenue picture, make sure we can afford it. We are rooting for him, unlike what they do in Washington, wishing that the Obama administration fails. Here, we're actually rooting that his revenue predictions are good, because that would be good for New Jersey. It would mean that actually New Jersey is on the comeback. And if, in fact, his revenue predictions start to come true, we will implement the property tax cut for middle-class working families that Senate President Steve Sweeney and I campaigned all over the state for.
You know, the governor took issue with people questioning his projections, and he said, hey, the legislature had no problem spending off those projections, but now all of a sudden when it comes to tax relief, they're questioning my numbers. They want it both ways.
No, I think it's the governor who wants it both ways. He wants to over-exaggerate revenues, and we're saying, okay, that's what you want to do. We'll temporarily go along with it, but if in fact we find out that they are over-exaggerated, then we're going to have to readjust the budget accordingly. We're not going to spend money that we don't have. And I think it's kind of interesting. I said I feel a little like Alice in Wonderland. What's up is down. What's down is up. The governor is the tax and borrow Republican governor, and we're the fiscal responsible conservatives. It's kind of a role reversal. He talked a lot about compromise in his speech. This budget is a compromise. When we sent him this budget that he signed, it is based upon his revenues. We reduced that budget by about $60 million. That's almost a surprise when the Democrats are sending him a budget that's less than what he sent to us. We built into it a property tax refund for the property tax payers. That's where the crisis is, not in the income tax. We did not go for a tax reduction that would get $7,000 to millionaires and $80 to people earning $50,000 a year. We went for a middle-class property tax refund. We will implement it as soon as we know that New Jersey can afford it.
You mentioned respect a little earlier. In a few minutes, we're going to get back to the other story from over the weekend where the governor once again, this time he called somebody stupid. You yourself were on the receiving end once where he talked about asking somebody to take a back to you when you disagreed with him. You know, is this just style, or does he cross the line in your eyes here in terms of both tone and delivery of what he says?
Yeah, I guess it is his style because he keeps doing it. But yes, it does cross the line. He is the chief executive officer in the state of New Jersey. He is the elected governor. He sometimes uses phrases and language that if my grandchildren used at the dinner table, they'd be corrected. We don't talk to about each other in that manner. We don't call people names as he has. But he gets lots of press, so he seems to enjoy the what he perceives to be his Jersey guy image. Well, you know what? I'm a Jersey girl, and my children were raised in New Jersey, and I don't think we need to go around talking to each other or about each other in that manner. We could disagree, and we do disagree. I just think every so often he needs a timeout.
Good enough, Senator. I appreciate a few minutes here, and hopefully you're not dragged back to Trenton here later on this week. I appreciate a couple.
I'm with you. Thanks.